Hey, AJ in Westland, Michigan. Westland! Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and I'm going to show you how I cut photochromic transitional lenses for your RayBan 5121 Wayfarer, color 2000, which is the classic shiny black, and the 50 eye size. So let me take it out of its original packaging. Your Italian leather RayBan case with Wayfarer embossed onto the case. So your Wayfarer frame and your RayBan cleaning cloth. I'm going to put that back into the case. Now this is how RayBan sends it to me, with a little plastic sleeve on the left temple to prevent the temples from rubbing together during shipping. If they think it's a good idea to do one, well, I'm going to send an extra one with you. So not only will you get all the original manufacturer's packaging, you're going to get a little bit more. In fact, speaking of all the original packaging, these are the demo lenses that come in it. The left lens says RayBan on there. I'm going to pop these out so I can cut your photochromic transitional lenses with anti-glare, but I'm going to give you back your original demo lenses, what comes with the frame. Pop that into the bag. Then I'm going to take your Wayfarer frame with no lenses in it and do something about it. So here we go. I'm going to put your frame into my $30,000 Santinelli, or I like to say the Santinelli. This is the LE1000 patternless edger. The stylus is coming up and tracing the shape of the right side of your frame, and then it's going to move over and trace the left. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed with quality. You buy a genuine, authentic RayBan frame, and you receive free prescription, clear, single vision prescription lenses or non-prescription fashion lenses, whatever you want. And of course, you upgraded to the photochromic lenses with an anti-glare coating. All the bells and whistles, AJ. So here's what we're doing. Pull up the shape of your lens right now onto the computer. If these were prescription, I would put in your pupillary distance, but I'm just going to put in the frames. This is a polycarbonate lens that I'm going to cut on the soft cycle because of the anti-glare coating. And this is a plastic frame. It is not a metal. It is not a semi-rimless. I also know from experience the bevel on these are a little deep, so I'm going to cut it to go a little bit start from the beginning, but I still may have to trim these down a little bit more to get them to fit. But these are your lenses before I begin them. This is how they send them to me in these little protective sleeves. I'm going to take them out of these. Take the foam off of there. And these are the size of your lenses that I need to cut to go into here. So the first thing I need to do is attach one of these blocks to your lens. This is what's going to hold it in place in the lathe while it is cutting. Now 3M, the same people who make post-it notes, make some double-sided adhesive stickers for the optical field. The black side is the sticky side. I'm going to put that onto the block, pull the tape away to make this side sticky, and then stick that onto your lens, and do the same thing now for the left lens. And actually, since these are non-prescription, it could be the right. Peel that off, toss that. Now, because of the anti-glare coating, I'll explain what it does in a little bit, but for now, part of that coating, it's just like when you wax your car and it rains, the water beads right off. You have a hydrophobic surface. So you never need a liquid cleaner in the future. Just a cleaning cloth that I'm going to provide, and your RayBan cleaning cloth is all you'll ever need to clean your lenses. But because of that coating, it makes all water very, well, I'm going to stick, essentially what I'm doing is putting another sticker on the back side so that it gets good traction inside the lathe, because now whenever you put water on your lens, it's just going to bead right off. So, but the first thing I'm going to do is put your lens into the chuck, or as I like to say, the Charles, because I don't know it well enough to call it chuck. But then hit start, and these calipers are going to come down, and it's going to trace the right side of your frame onto the lens to make sure the lens is large enough to fit into the frame that you have chosen. It's starting on the concave surface first, the rear surface, the back surface closest to your eyelashes. Then it's going to move over and trace the convex side of the lens, which sits away from the face. The cutting wheel is actually down here on the bottom, that bottom left-hand wheel. That's going to act as a heavy grit sandpaper to grind away the polycarb material. This wheel in the center with that channel, that valley, that's what's going to put the bevel onto the lens so it stays inside the bevel of the frame. I will have to close the door as your unbreakable polycarb lenses touches down on the cutting wheel, but I just want you to see it as it begins the cutting cycle. So your lenses are made of the polycarbonate material. There's three main lens materials: glass, plastic, and polycarb. Glass essentially has gone by the way of the dinosaur, with the exception of some sunglass lenses, but most people just don't like to wear something that heavy on their face because glass adds so much weight. Plus, if you ever drop your glasses, the lenses will shatter just like you dropping a drinking glass. So the other two materials are plastic and polycarb. Plastic is the most common and the least expensive, but it has a tendency to flake or even chip, so I use polycarbonate. Polycarbonate is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. It is also virtually unbreakable. Your lenses are bulletproof up to 22 caliber and have both UVA and UVB protection, as well as one of the best scratch coatings to protect the lens that's out there. Not only that, it's an aspheric lens, meaning that spherical just means that it's round all over like a basketball. This has a flatter front surface, so cosmetically it's going to look better inside your frame. It's not going to protrude outward. So you're getting the highest quality ophthalmic grade single vision lenses. Now if you notice, your lens is completely flat going around the edges. It's like a nickel. If I were to take it out and set it on the counter, it would stand up on its own. And now it's actually getting the bevel cut onto the lens. Ooh, I love picking this stuff off as it goes around. But if you notice, there is water running in the background, but polycarbonate cuts dry, where plastic and high index plastics cut wet. Now in just a moment, 2 water jets are going to kick in, but that's only to wash away the stuff that I'm picking off of your lens as it goes around. The stuff I'm picking off is called Schwarf. May the Schwarf be with you. So yeah, that's just, now since it's getting an optical bath, it's just getting a final rinse to wash away any of the stuff that I was just picking off, any other optical debris that may be left over. This cycle continues for about 20 seconds and then it stops, and we'll see if it fits. This whole process should take about 15-20 minutes. It's now 4:18 on Saturday, June 7th, 81 degrees in my hometown of Durham, North Carolina, at least according to my Samsung Gear 2 watch. So let me take that off. I'm going to dry your lens off so it's not slippery. It's really embarrassing when you drop one of these on live TV. So you have some rough burrs at the edges that are left over from the cutting cycle. I want to smooth those out before I insert your lens into the frame. So I'm going to use my handstone, which is completely flat. I can put my finger on it while it's running, and my finger gets warm due to the friction. But it's that friction that allows me to go around and smooth out those rough edges that you have. Now, this white powdery substance you see me scraping off, again, that is the Schwarf, as it is called. And I do this so much that I've worn a V-shaped bevel into my thumbnail. My friends call it my occupational thumbnail. But once it's all been removed from your lens, I carefully collect it from the counter into one pile, and then I very carefully wipe it on the floor. Oh, I always get tickled by that. Hey, the clown gets to laugh. But this is also where I say, kids, stay in school. I went to school for years to learn how to make a mess like that. So if you want to grow up and make a mess, you gotta stay in school. So, to insert your lenses, I turn the frame upright. The lens is upright, the temple's pointing downward. While working on the right side of the frame, I like to have this side closest to me. I'm not trying to reach over the frame to work on it, so I tuck it in from the outside corner here. Then using my thumbs, I press down. There's still some resistance, so I'm going to take it down another 1/10 of a millimeter, which is not surprising. Oops, you know what? I went the wrong way. Shame on me. Now let's see if we can get it to fit. So I'm going to take it down 1/10 of a millimeter, and a millimeter is the distance between my thumbnails. So I'm going to take 1/10 of that distance off going around the circumference of your lens. But yeah, so the anti-glare coating that you have on there, anti-glare eliminates glare when driving at night, particularly driving at night in the rain, but also from stoplights, street lights, computer screens, overhead fluorescent lights. It's also an anti-reflective lens, and this is the reason why most people get it. Forget the part that the safety feature for driving at night in the rain, but you can see how this lens in my right hand shows the reflection of the fluorescent lights above me. You don't get that on your lens. So when someone's looking at you, it's much better eye contact. They're not looking at their reflection in your lenses. And then the single biggest reason, if someone takes a picture with a flash with a camera, you don't see the flash lit up in your lens. You see just the eyes. So, and the third feature that I like, it's an anti-glare, it's an anti-reflective, but the third feature, it comes with the best scratch coating that you can get on top of any lens, because they want to protect the investment of that anti-glare. So you get a premium, even better scratch coating than what goes on a regular lens. That's still a good scratch coating on the regular ones. This is just the premium ones. This is what I gotta pay for, therefore this is what you gotta pay for, AJ. But hey, no other seller out there is offering you these services, so we're gonna make it happen. So now let's see if it's the correct size. I'm gonna take it out again, dry everything off. Back to the handstone, back to put on what's known as the safety bevel. Run my thumbnail around the edge to get that off again. You know what's coming, you know it's coming. Collect it into one pile, of course there's not as much of it this time, and then wipe it on the floor. Hey, you know I gotta have fun too while I'm at work. I love what I do. I take my job seriously, just not myself. So again, to make sure your lens fits, I tuck the frame upright. Well, I have the frame upright, I tuck it in the lens of the outside corner, then use my thumbs, I press down, it snaps in perfectly. I test it by doing just the reverse. I turn the frame downward with the temples up. I'm right-handed, so I grab the frame with my left hand. I put my right thumb on the nose. It's always with the thumb, it's always the nose. But I put my right thumb on there, I put my fingers on this side. I use this thumb to push down. It pops out easily. The reason I'm showing you this is I can always sell you aftermarket lenses later, polarized, anything else that you want, to go in here. Again, I turn it upright, tuck it in the outside corner, then push down at the nose. So let's go ahead and begin on the left lens. I'm going to flip this over to left and then hit the start button. And just like before, the calipers are going to come down and they're going to trace the rear surface of your lens, but this time for the left side of your frame. Again, starting with the concave surface, and then we'll move over to the convex surface. And that concludes your vocabulary lesson of the day. Round and round. Camera 1, camera 2. Camera 1, camera 2. Can you see the shape of your lens as it goes around? Imagine, close your eyes, and I guess you can't close your eyes and see what's happening. But as soon as your left transitional anti-glare lens starts cutting, I'm going to continue working on the right. So this block is no longer needed, so I can go ahead and remove that. I have this little lever I press down that pulls the traction off. Pull the sticker off is no longer needed, nor is this little blue sticker. Come on, I'll stick that on the counter then. I'm going to use my cleaning cloth, and by the way, I will be sending you not only your RayBan cleaning cloth that comes with the case, but I'm going to include one of my own premium microfiber cleaning cloths with instructions on how to care for your RayBan one and your cloth, as well as your glasses and case, so they will last you for years. No other seller on the internet. And I'm just holding your lenses up to inspect that there are no blemishes. And actually, let's not be lazy. I'm going to go ahead and take my optical grade acetone and just make sure there's no sticky residue left over from the stickers that are on your lenses. But I will be providing you with cleaning instructions. I'm also going to provide you with a photo request in case you would like to have your picture on the website. I started taking pictures of my patients when they came to pick up their prescription glasses, and as of now I have several digital picture frames in my office, each with hundreds, if not thousands, of smiling faces on them. So that way you can tell everyone that you're a RayBan model. Brag to your friends. So the reason the water runs in the background is to collect any dust that may kick up. Of course, with me holding the door open, that's a moot point. Fortunately, I like the taste of polycarbonate shavings. So this is the knife-like bevel being applied to the lens. Very dull knife, but so dull that it could actually cut a piece of tissue. So you would have to soak that tissue in a bucket of water overnight, and then with all your might press down with the lens, and you just might be able to cut through it. So in just a moment this will stop, and I'll see if the left lens fits. And then I'm going to put it under a very strong, intensive ultraviolet light, and I will show you your lenses darkening. the exciting part of the video. I know you don't want to sit here and listen to me talk. So again, I'm going to dry your lens. Back to the handstone. Back to the safety bevel. Back to using my thumbnail to scrape all of that off your lens. See, that's why I can't have nice thumbnails. But I collect everything on the counter. You know what's coming. You know what's coming. All right, kids, watch this. Behind the back. Woo, look at that technique. Kids, stay in school. How many times I got to tell you? So, let's see. Let's make your left lens. First, I spun the frame around so the empty side is closest to me. I tuck it in at the edges closest to me. Then using my thumbs, pressing down at the nose, it pops right in. So I'm going to take this block off. Take the sticker off, put it with the other one. Now I can throw them away. Use my optical grade acetone to clean everything off of your lens. Dry everything off, and then I'm going to get your frame in standard alignment. Now 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments if you ask them, but if you receive these and they're loose on one side, or they're tight, or they're high on one side, just stop by your local shop and ask them to adjust it. But I'm going to get it in standard alignment in a 3-point stance, meaning that I put it on the counter, 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame makes 3. I press down, there is no wobble. 80% of people have one ear that's higher than the other. I'm no different. So when I take mine off, they wobble on the counter, but they sit level on me. So I press down, there is no wobble. Flip it over, there is no wobble. I make sure that each temple overlaps perfectly, and they do. Same amount of tension on each hinge. And these are the triple barrel hinges, one of the strongest hinges that RayBan makes. So this is extremely sturdy and durable frame. So you can see what your lenses look like clear. I'm going to go ahead and put them into the transitions unit and turn on the ultraviolet light. And you will see that it takes about 30 to 45 seconds for the lenses to darken when you go outside into the sun. It takes a little bit longer when you come back inside, 45 seconds to a minute 15. Now this is very important, AJ, pay attention. All transition lenses get dark on day 1. Give them two weeks, and they continue to darken every day for the first couple weeks until they get to their final setting. It's like a new employee on the job. You just got to train them for 2 weeks to get them just right. Now, after that, once they reach their final hue, they'll work for years with maximum performance. The only time they will not work is if you're inside of a car with a traditional windshield, because your windshield absorbs all the sun's ultraviolet rays that would cause them to turn dark. So your dashboard doesn't crack. That's why your windshield has the UV protection. Now, as soon as you step out of the car, they will work, but they will darken if you have a convertible or a motorcycle. They also work better in cooler temperatures, meaning 85 and below. Once it gets to the mid-90s and 100, they just don't get as dark as they do when it's 85 and below. I remind everyone that at 100 degrees, you're miserable, they're miserable. No one wants to work hard when it's 100 degrees. So AJ, don't you worry, they're going to continue to darken. And if anyone has any questions, just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com. And AJ, I hope you enjoyed watching me cut lenses for your new RayBan 5121 Wayfarer. And everyone else got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.